Early in my corporate career, before I went all in building my startup, one of my boss told me 10 words that forever changed the way I viewed working in a corporate. Those 10 words were, it can be another line to have on your resume. After hearing those words, I was prepared to hand over my resignation later the next day. Why is that? Sounds like a good advice, right? Well, I have to explain some context behind those words. Here's a quick personal background if you're new on the channel and to understand how those words led me to where I am today. So I used to work in corporate jobs as a software engineer in Japan for 4 years while side hustling on building my own location-based language exchange app that now became my startup, and have been working on it full-time for 1.5 years. After freshly graduating, I was so excited to join a big corporate and work on exciting projects and put into practice my developer skills. I was fortunate enough to be assigned on a project that's both technically challenging and making use of my programming skills with lots of rooms to scale up and at the same time contributing to the project. Then a few months later, one day I was asked to join a meeting discussing about a POC, which is proof of concept about using no-code software to automate process and save both time and cost internally and externally. Sounds like an exciting project, right? Well, on the paper, yeah, but not in reality. I was told that this will revolutionize and contribute to the company digital transformation, a sexy and trendy word in Japan back then and still is now, to say that we want to automate data entry on Excel spreadsheet. So I was told to stop working on whatever I'm working right now and spend the next month building a prototype to prove that this can be a viable project so that further budget can be allocated to spread its usage inside the company. Since it's not really something I signed for when joining the company, I was kind of perplexed but said that I only agree on building the prototype and will be done with it once it's completed. After working with the tool for a few days, reality hit and I was told that the project will involve a modern software that allows building automation workflows with a few clicks and drag and drop. The tool looked indeed modern but too buggy, slow and low-code software connecting to Excel spreadsheet, web pages and talking to the mainframe computers to insert data record. The automation tool allows you to connect to different source and destination. You can give it commands to run and so on. Basically automating all stuff that don't provide proper APIs and interfaces to work with. As a developer, I'm not a big fan of those no-code tools. I mean, why dragging on a canvas and arranging 5 containers of modules just to perform a for loop when you can do that in a single line of code? The tool allows you to write customized code using .NET if you want to add a specific action that's not supported natively by the software. So at the end, the thing was a mess to work with. There wasn't any version control, really hard to maintain over time, not intuitive. We rely heavily on using your computer mouse. It was a proprietary software, so not much documentation available at that time. I spent more time fighting with the tool rather than trying to build something useful and impactful and learning something that I'm 100% sure won't be useful for my career since it's not a path that I wanted to take. Fast forward a month later, I survived and completed the proof of concept and we demoed the prototype to executive people who liked the idea and decided to fund the project. So I thought finally I can go back to write some real code. Then my boss said, you know, we are happy with the result of the project and now that we have budget for it, we want you to work on it full time, at least for years to start with. In my head, I was like, what the heck? I'd never touch that again. Then after a few discussions, my boss wanted to negotiate my assignment to 50% working on my development project where I write actual code and 50% of my time will be allocated to the automation project. I disagree with that and explained that I'm not the best person to work on that and my skill on the tool is really limited and instead asked to let me fully commit to the work of the development project. Back and forth, my boss kept trying to convince me and lowering the commitment time to just 30%. But still, I wasn't a fan of that and I knew that those numbers will not reflect the reality. So I said that it was like trying to force a basketball player to play soccer and I wouldn't spend another minute on that project. My boss kind of get angry and said that we lack resources and that we cannot understand why I was so stubborn. Said that the assignment would be just for a year and said those words. It can be another line to have on your resume. In my head, I was like, wow, spending an entire year of my life to get a freaking line that I don't need or even want to have on my resume? That's it? At that time, I was freshly graduated from from college with lots of hope and was excited to work on cutting-edge technologies and learn new skills that I truly want to improve. Instead, a few months in, and I was told that my entire software engineering career would be shifted toward a path that I don't want to be involved, and that for an entire year my developer skill will be stuck. That would mean that if in a year I wanted to apply for a software engineer job or join a development project, then I would have nothing to show. Basically an entire professional year gone. It would feel like taking a gap year without all the benefits that might come with it. Oh, and I don't buy the fact that once I'm in for a year, they're gonna let me out, since I will be knowledgeable about the tool and the project that I might be probably stuck for longer. So when my boss told me those words, at the same time my side project SewaYou, that now becomes my startup, was about to be ready for a beta release. So I told my boss that if I'm forced to work on something I didn't sign for, I'll quit and would rather work on my project. I didn't know what I was saying at that time. My project SewaYou wasn't even released, so I had like 0 users. My programming skill wasn't that good neither, and I was living in a foreign country without any savings, and I was there giving like an ultimatum to quit after a few months. What would my next employer say when seeing my resume? Well, I don't care, and to be really honest, it was a mix of confidence that I could find another software engineer job quickly by showing my side project, and how much I don't want to work on that automation project. My boss was shocked and was still angry, and decided to leave me work on the development project and instead find more human resources to work with within the company and pick other people within the new graduated employees pool, amongst others. Until this day, I still cannot understand how so many young college graduated from a computer science major accepted to be moved out of the blue to another project working on old mainframes using COBOL or using legacy systems, while they were initially assigned to more exciting projects. If they find that exciting, well, I'm glad for them, but most are not, and I know that for a fact because some of my good colleagues were part of that plan. So what I've learned from that experience is that nobody will value your time more than you do. So do whatever you have to relentlessly protect your time. Time is the only thing you can never get back. There's a famous quote from Jim Rohn that perfectly summarizes this story, and it goes like this: if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you will fall into someone else's plan, and guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Or another similar one: the world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, then the world will tell you. Often we're just a cog in the big corporate machine, and you can be replaced the next day. And I'm sure you've heard of the big tech layoffs recently. Even Steve Jobs get fired from his own company he co-founded, or even me, CEO of my own startup, is no exception to that. The reality is that what most companies care about is often to cut costs, optimize KPIs, and not really optimizing for employees' best career path. The transactional nature of work is understandable, and having this information in mind, you need to look for the what's in it for me in the company you work at for your own career. Working for a company is not receiving or giving unconditional love or support. At the end of the day, you're trading your time and skills for financial compensation and professional growth opportunities. It's crucial to evaluate your current role and see if it aligns with your personal and professional goals. Are you learning or growing as a professional? Of course, there are many more factors to be taken into consideration. Things like how your work can blend into your life, or how it allows you to have more flexibility for your work-life balance, or can support you financially, and so on. So have a clear career path in your mind and pursue it. It can be anything from optimizing for your growth and learning, or having more outside work time and optimizing for work-life balance. If you don't, then you're gonna end up be whatever your boss wants you to be. So work hard on building evidences for your skills to show for, and you won't need to worry about having a hard time finding another job. Well, since going full-time on my own startup and the team starts to expand beyond just me, I became myself a boss, for lack of a better word, and that's also why I make this video, to remind my present and future self of that experience that I had back then. I also look back to this video to avoid letting myself becoming the person with traits that I used to not appreciate, and hope it will help build a good work environment for the team. This experience helped me build my character over time and taught me an important life lesson, but also helped me develop and reinforce some of my mindset to pursue my startup journey. I talk about these mindsets in details that helps me take the plunge to go full-time on my startup and raise $150,000 for my startup back when I had 0 employee or co-founder. So check this video here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section and share if you have have ever experienced this kind of situation. I release a weekly video until my startup SewaYou IPOs, so click the subscribe button and hit the bell notification. Also follow me on Instagram for more bite-sized short videos on the behind the scene of building a startup as a solo and foreign founder in Japan. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.